It's not an exaggeration to say that literally millions of people are struggling because of this government shutdown right now.
Oh, absolutely. Every single federal worker.
As we'll be talking about a little bit later, we've got the federal workers, of course. Millions of people are going through open enrollment right now for healthcare plans. And those premiums are up, baby.
Those premiums are up. Those premiums absolutely are up. We got food insecurity for people on SNAP. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, at first, the Trump administration didn't want to pay out any SNAP benefits at all. They didn't want to use any of the contingency funds that Congress specifically set aside for something like this. Now they've been told they have to at least pay out a little bit. We'll talk about that later. Lots going on.
Yes.
But despite all that, despite all the pain that this administration is intentionally causing, we can't even get a let them eat cake moment.
True.
Well, we can't even get a let them eat cake moment. We just got Trump talking about this fucking bathroom that has been horribly reconfigured and is now just a shell of what it once was. And I'm not even like a These Sacred Halls kind of guy. I don't really care that much.
But like interior design.
But it looks horrible.
But like I have a Pinterest board. I think about how I'm going to lay things out. Clearly something he doesn't do. And it's just like what he did to the Oval Office. Again, not on a These Sacred Halls thing,
Yeah.
But just like what he did from the perspective of things that I would want to look at in a room I'd want to be in. That was a crime.
Oh, yeah. I think was it the Lincoln bathroom or some shit like that?
The Lincoln bathroom. Yeah. What he did to the Lincoln bathroom is even a worse crime. Yeah. That shit is murder one right there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's just marble.
No, yeah,
it's just marble with gold accents.
It looks so awful, especially compared to what it was before. And again, I don't really like care that much about like what is done to the White House or decor or anything like that. It's usually like a thing that a lot of liberals get upset about, but it's like we've got him completely just destroying the bathroom, looking awful.
Yeah.
The Oval Office incredibly gaudy without all that gold. The East Wing gone.
Currently gone, yes.
Making way for a ballroom that is funded by billionaires. I'm sure that's not going to go in any negative direction.
I'm sure it's also going to be a marble and gold mess.
And we can't even get like a let them eat cake moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's so far out of touch. People are literally going to be going without food or much less food than they had before, malnourishment, whatever. And we can't even get them to say anything. Like everything's a shell of what it once was.
On the eve of SNAP getting ready to be taken away, he had that Great Gatsby themed Halloween party.
Oh,
it's like,
my God,
okay,
man.
Yeah, I see what we're doing. Yeah.
Nobody read the book. Nobody read the book.
It actually is very cool to just be wealthy and flaunt wealth. Like, that's sick. And it's just like the marble, man. The marble is atrocious. It really is.
The Great Gatsby party really gets me because it's like, one, they didn't read the book, but even if they did, and even if they understood it, like it was not framed in a positive light. Like Gatsby's life wasn't something to aspire to. Like he was incredibly miserable. Like I just, oh my God, they didn't even get to the end. I bet. Jesus Christ.
No, absolutely not. And they certainly didn't consult like an interior designer when it's like ultimately Trump just has bad taste.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what it is. Like, for a guy that initially got all his money from his dad and then pretended he got it from doing real estate and being good at that, he's got no taste. He has no eye for design.
No, not even a little.
And that's the most unforgivable thing I think he's done.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's more Hiddo.
It's more Hiddo. Welcome back. This is, pre-recorded for all you that aren't on Patreon, you know what I'm saying? But we're back to our regularly scheduled programming.
That's right.
It's just Hiddo. It's just Head in the office.
That's right. I hope you enjoyed the interviews that we released over the past 2 weeks. It seems like at least some of you did.
Yeah, we got some good reception from the people of you who actually wanted to speak up.
Numbers didn't like completely fall off, so that's good to see. But we are back to a regular week of Hiddo, 2 episodes this week. Your typical style, set up Monday and Thursday for those on the Patreon, Wednesday, Friday for everybody else. But today's Monday, November 3rd, and we got to talk about SNAP.
We got to talk about SNAP. We got to talk about Shutdown.
We got to talk about immigration. We got to talk about war crimes.
We got to talk about geopolitics, baby, because the number one geopolitics podcast, we are back.
Yeah, we're so back on our geopolitical stuff. But before we get into all of that, I'll remind you all, become a patron.
Become a patron. Come on, please. In today's day and age, where the news changes all the time, I literally had to amend show notes 5 minutes before we hit record.
5 minutes.
Because I got here, and then I looked at my phone, and it said news. Yeah, news happened.
Imagine what's going to happen 5 minutes after we stop recording.
Exactly. And you know how many 5-minute moments there are from now when we drop the episode to when the Wednesday Weenies get it?
Yeah.
Many.
Yeah, life isn't about how many breaths you take, but about how many moments take your breath away.
so true. I've been saying this.
With that, become a patron. You know what I mean? Become a patron. You can also get some merch at headintheoffice.com. All of our links are in the description if you want to support the show. We're independent media, folks.
We are independent.
We're not bought and paid for until the APEC check comes in. Then,
exactly. Until the APEC check comes in, or the Fed check comes in, or something else comes in.
Yeah.
Until then, support us because we're not billionaire-owned media.
Exactly. And you guys want to get us to a point where we can say no to them. But like right now, I'm so vulnerable and desperate that I'll take anything.
Exactly.
And so if I sell out, really, it's your fault.
And it's frankly, now that we have more motion than we did back when all those like crypto rug pulls were going on, I'm kind of disappointed that the crypto rug pulls aren't going on, guys, if I'm being frank.
Yeah, I know.
Because if some crypto coin, if some, I don't know, Chungus coin came up to us and was like, hey guys, we'll give you $20,000 if you promote this rug pull we're doing, I'd do it. Because frankly, you guys should know better.
you guys should know better. And frankly, it's your fault that I can't say no.
For real, if you've been listening to this show long enough, you should know where we stand on this. We should have cultivated an audience of people who know better. And it should really be us not taking advantage of you, but taking advantage of the crypto coin that paid us to do that.
Yeah. So think thoughtfully and become a patron. Support your favorite podcast.
Insulate me from that outside pressure.
That's right. You can also support the show by leaving a 5-star review on Apple and on Spotify. We got a couple to read today.
Yes, we do.
Surprisingly, they didn't stack up over about the week that we had been gone.
I thought they were going to. I really did. I thought we were coming back and it was going to be a Herculean effort to get through these before the show, to keep your attention, dear listener.
Yeah, so in some ways, it's a tragedy that it's not.
True.
You know what I mean? But
because this would have been a situation where you caught me begging on the Thursday show.
Exactly. But we do have to read these 5-star reviews. So this first one here on Apple from Addy7, 5 stars. Hello to Jeremy Engage from a blue dot in a red sea, Salt Lake City, Utah.
Oh.
I of course condemn Hamas political violence and no balls Governor Cox. Found the pod on Instagram Reels earlier this year and have loved every second of it. Also really liked the Kamala Harris book review and recent interview about money in politics. Hell yeah. Look at that interview.
Interview head right here. See, guys, listen to the interviews.
Thanks for being an informative and entertaining tertiary news source as I canvass for progressive candidates in Utah. We are trying, I swear. Hell yeah.
Damn, that's crazy. Your prayers up to you for doing that. This next and final Instagram review from Isabel Ringing. 5 stars, dudes. New York might be in its communist era, but unfortunately I live in evil Ellis Stefanik's district. Oof. And so I turned to this podcast for much needed reprieve, rock solid takes, and yes, interesting interviews. Let's go.
Let's go. Interview mentioned.
Hell yeah. These two dudes give me the confidence to keep pushing for a better world, even with the brunette demon who thinks free bus equals jihadism breathing down my neck. Keep up the good work and consider all forms of political violence condemned. Thumbs up emoji. And I got to give that a thumbs up. That whole thing right there, just masterclass in what you should do to appease me.
I'm sorry you live.
A review.
I'm sorry you live in Elise Stefanik's district, though. That is incredibly rough.
Yeah, that does suck.
I'm praying for you. Maybe move to the Communist Republic of New York.
Yes, and if you think that sucks bigly, guys, comment that sucks bigly down below.
Yeah, comment that sucks bigly down below. These next ones on Spotify. First one from Luke Wechter. Hamas condemned. Patreon subscribe. Apple review 5 stars. Intro to podcasting. Attended. Thought I'd done it all, but realized I could support my favorite non-parasocial friends even more by having my review read at the end. The end of the episode. Well, we're reading this one at the beginning this time around.
Tough.
As Jeremy said, there's no grass in the desert, and after moving from Michigan to the gambling hellscape of Vegas, the only thing I'll miss more than the color green is the ability to go to the Hiddo meetups. 5 out of 5. Keep up the great work.
Damn, that's crazy. I feel like I'm inundated with gambling when I watch football. I can't imagine actually living in Gambletown.
Yeah, go Gambletown, USA.
Gambletown, USA. That's got to be fucked up. This next one from Ian Wolf. 5 to the power of 5 stars to some of my favorite quirked up white boys with only the most hottest takes and having the passion to keep my rap brain hooked and always coming back for more every week. I have very much appreciated your takes on Gaza and how Israel's handled the whole situation. It's crazy that an entire country have been gaslit into believing that there is an invisible condemned Hamas agent behind a malnourished child, especially when it's even permeated my own home.
Well, as Isaac Herzog said, I believe the president of Israel, there's no such thing as an innocent Palestinian.
True.
There's no such thing as any Palestinian that's not aware. So, yeah.
And as Ben Gavir said many times in tweets you have to translate from Hebrew, it's something evil.
Something evil. Many such cases. This last one from a string of numbers. 5 out of 5. I condemn all violence, political or not real. Have enjoyed your sane updates from the USA for a while. Spotify algorithm. Greetings from the vassal state, the Netherlands. From a vassal state, the Netherlands, where the extreme right just won 49 or 71 out of 150 seats.
Oh my God.
That does not sound good. I'll enjoy some time with the centrist far right coalition of 44 centrists plus 39 far right idiots. Keep up the good work. The world is struggling, people.
The world really does suck right now. Kind of like Japan just elected the first their like far right prime minister, which honestly just goes to support my theory that the first female president will be a Republican.
Yeah. Yeah, like, didn't she say some shit like we need to work harder or something?
I wouldn't be surprised.
like we're gonna get more people to commit suicide because we work them too hard.
We're gonna get more people to work even harder. I know we have a notoriously bad work culture, but guys, let's get it done.
I know the birth rate is like incredibly low, specifically because everyone's too focused on work. But let's kick it up a notch.
Exactly. All those animators at Mappa, they need to keep going.
Well, that I agree with. That uncritical support.
I mean, did you see the Chainsaw Man movie, guys? Come on.
Before we get into the SNAP funding, I do want to mention again, we're recording this on Monday, November 3rd. That's a day before many important elections are happening throughout the country. So we will be talking about major election news on the next podcast. That's Thursday for the patrons, Friday for everybody else. We'll be talking about New York City. Hopefully Zoran Mamdani running the world.
New Jersey, right?
New Jersey, I believe. Yeah. Minneapolis, Omar Fateh. Hopefully he wins his race. We'll be talking about the results of the California ballot. The redistricting question is on that ballot. So if you want access to that earlier than everybody else, got to become a patron.
Got to become a patron because, I mean, by then we'll know whether or not Mr. Mamdani did it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll know whether Kami Mamdani did it. Or if we're stuck with Cuomo.
Yeah, Kami Mamdani, kind of Schrodinger's Mamdani, because he's out here. They're saying he's going to do Sharia law. He's going to be executing gay people in the streets. But also he's going to gay bars and he's woke and indoctrinating the kids. Well, I don't know which it is.
It's a good question.
Yeah, it's a good question. It's an important question.
Many such things for New Yorkers to ponder. Because Andrew Cuomo, on the other hand, is notable good record.
Yeah, nothing wrong with him.
Notable good record. And it's so funny, too. I guess, like, spoiler alert for what we will talk about on Thursday, but it's like Andrew Cuomo constantly talks about, like, Mamdani's never worked a real job, blah, blah, blah. Look at his record. I actually have a record. It's like, brother, your record is sexual harassment allegations.
And, like, his father was the governor.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about, dog? You got everything handed to you.
He keeps trying to levy nepotism accusations at Zoran when his father was a governor, the heir to a New York political dynasty.
Yes.
And also the record that you keep talking about, the experience you keep talking about, ended in disgrace because of sexual assault allegations.
And he keeps saying shit like, imagine if Mamdani was mayor on 9/11. Brother, you were governor during COVID and you killed a bunch of people.
Exactly.
like we don't have to imagine either one of you dealing with a crisis. You were governor during a crisis and you fumbled it.
Man, I saw this banger tweet the other day talking about that, and it was from like some like grifty right-wing account that was like, Andrew Cuomo killed my dad, but I'm still voting for him. That's how bad things got in New York City. Come on, man.
Dude, come on.
Just absolute brain empty take, dude. People are so scared of free bus. Yeah. A free bus that they're like, oh, Cuomo, you killed my father. I'm voting for you.
Yeah.
That's just the like, I feel like that's gaslighting me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's gaslighting, but I digress.
I do love that Zoran is running through the finish line, staying up until like 3, 4 a.m., going to a bunch of different bars just to see people.
Yeah.
And Cuomo's finishing the campaign with like AI ads. Like, that really does just capture like establishment versus populist wing, right? Like, that's it right there.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Cuomo's sitting in his ivory tower, but I digress. Well, hopefully that take age as well.
The last thing I'll say, just because this was like with the 60-minute interview that Trump recently just did, he gets asked about Zoran Mamdani.
Oh,
Trump
for real?
did. Yeah, he was asked about Zoran. The interviewer was like, yeah, he's a socialist, and then Trump was like, nope, he's a communist, actually. But then the question was essentially that, like, how do you feel about the comparisons between you and Zoran, because you're both charismatic figures that like aggressively pursue policies? And the thing I had to say about this is, like, it's not Trump-like to campaign on popular issues.
Yeah, it's not Trump-like to just like believe in things.
Yeah.
Like, we're confusing, like, I don't know, like a populist message with just like lying, I guess.
But like too many people, establishment and in the media, confuse running a popular campaign or running on issues that people actually care about with like magic tricks. Right? They think that like being popular or actually getting out and speaking to people or doing populism is like some kind of parlor trick that tricks people into supporting you, when it's like, no, that's just what a politician should do.
And it's like, why does Trump get to own being a good messenger?
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me we have been so starved for so long that anybody gets popular because they actually have like a focused and concise platform, that Trump gets to own that, that whole thing? Like, that's just compared to Trump?
I just reject this idea, and I resent this idea that like doing anything popular, getting out and talking to people, and specifically like naming enemies, is necessarily Trump-like.
Yeah.
It's what politicians should be doing, and Trump doesn't own that. In fact, he does it in a way that is, like you said, very dishonest.
I guess it's really just the fact that like Trump was the only one that was doing that.
Yeah.
And I think,
that's what it is.
And I think from the perspective of these interviews, these people don't necessarily like Mamdani too much, especially compared to your Schumers, your Jeffries, your like more establishment types. And maybe there's a part of that comparison that's in there to compare him to Trump, to take away from the messaging that he's doing, take away from what he's accomplished, and say maybe implicitly go through with the assumption that he's just doing this thing. He's just saying whatever's going to get him elected so that he can do fuck all when he actually gets to office.
Yeah. It is sort of like insulting Mamdani and like downplaying the importance of populist politics. It's just very annoying.
But it's like, guys, you just be on message. Like these people are enamored when people believe in things.
Just be on message and like adopt popular policy. Like it's not hard.
Exactly.
Like Zoran, he's got like 3 pillars of his campaign. It's free bus, it's rent freeze, and it's government-owned grocery stores.
Yes, sir.
And he just talks about that relentlessly and calls Andrew Cuomo a creep.
And unlike Trump, he's like actually got plans for him.
Yeah.
Like Zoran doesn't just go out there.
He's a policy guy.
He doesn't go out there and he's going to say, "I'm going to give you free grocery."
Yeah.
Trump goes out there and say, "I'm going to deport 1 trillion people from the country," and then gets into office, doesn't know how to do it, and it's just an awful, evil nightmare thing.
Yeah.
It was an awful, evil nightmare thing when he was campaigning on it, but even in execution, it was because there's no plan for anything. He's been saying for the last I don't know fucking 12 years that he's got a healthcare plan without actually producing anything for a healthcare plan or even having a healthcare plan. Another point of contention that came up in that 60 Minutes interview. There's nothing there, but Zoran's got plans. And he's actually got popular messaging.
Yeah.
It's not like what Trump does. The only, I guess, overlap there is that popular.
Yeah.
People like to hear it.
Yeah. I think that so many people in the establishment and the media just think, again, doing popular politics, being a populist, and actually reaching voters is some kind of nefarious scheme necessarily. And it's no, I think it's actually a good thing if politicians talk about what we want to hear.
I think it's a good thing if our representatives represent the issues that we care about.
Yeah.
And we talk about.
It's not it can be deceptive, right? Populism, I think Trump's populism is deceptive, but it's not necessarily. And when Zoran gets out and says hey, buses should be free, right? Your rent shouldn't be too high, right? That's not he's not deceiving anybody.
Exactly.
Anyways,
people are yeah, that's chill. But yeah, anyways, back to the I guess news that came out this week before we get too on the Zoran train, and then God forbid he loses.
No.
And he loses.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure I'm voting for Zoran. Yeah, if Zoran wins New York City, I'm moving out.
Exactly, guys. Yeah, I can tell you right now, I'm not voting for Zoran. I am not voting for Zoran. Here from Michigan, you know what I'm saying? But whatever. But either way, into the news this week, I guess we got to start off the show with a welcome back checks and balances, kind of.
Hell yeah,
because this week,
I'm big on that.
Over the weekend, 2 federal judges ruled that Trump had to at least partially pay out SNAP benefits for November, with at least 1 judge ordering that they have to use contingency funds to do so. Yep. Which that was the big issue at contention last week. You had a USDA plan on the USDA website that if it gets shut down and if the shutdown goes this far, we're going to use contingency funds. They took that plan off the website, tried to cheekily say, oh no, we can't do that, for the first time ever, say that the law stopped the Trump administration from doing something. Only to find out that the law was actually not in the way. In fact, it would be illegal to not use that money to do it. Yeah. So I guess it's kind of a win for checks and balances, or is it just a win for judges doing something?
Well, I mean, Congress put the money aside specifically for something like this, in case there's a crisis.
It's been appropriated for emergencies.
Yeah.
And so here's the emergency: spend the money. As Congress directed. I think there's a very clear line there. But also, as of today, Monday, November 3rd, the USDA announced that they would fully use SNAP contingency funds to pay 50% of the benefits for the month of November. Yeah. And as per the court order, those benefits will need to start being paid out on Wednesday. So by the time this gets to all you weenies, 50% SNAP benefits should be going out to the 42 million Americans that are eligible SNAP recipients.
Yep.
They're sending out things so that states can calculate how much money you exactly get. I don't know. It's just half of what you normally get.
And it's already a delay, right? These are delayed benefits. Hopefully it's not too dramatic of a hit on many people, but a delay is a delay, and that does impact people.
It's already going to suck bigly being 50% benefits.
Oh, and it's 50% benefits, right?
Yeah.
It's not everything that you're used to getting. But on top of all of that, Trump's statement about this was fucking fantastic. It was a classic Trump.
His Truth Social?
His Truth Social post. You got it in here?
I got at least part of his Truth Social in here.
Okay, yeah, I'll wait then.
Okay. So after being told that Trump had to pay SNAP, Trump then went into his Truth Social post and he told his lawyers to just figure out how they can legally fund SNAP as quick as possible.
The judge already told you?
That's exactly my point here, right? It's the judge told you it is actually illegal to not do this, and he's like, I gotta figure out how we can do this legally. What's going on? And then further in the Truth Social post, this is when I have the quote. He said, quote,
there you go.
Even if we get immediate guidance, it will unfortunately be delayed while states get the money out. If we are given the appropriate legal direction by the court, it will be my honor to provide the funding, just like I did with military and law enforcement pay. It's right there.
It's right there.
The judge told you explicitly. He wrote it out. You have to use contingency funds to pay for this. Now pay for it by this day and tell me what you're going to do by this day. Mm-hmm. Trump is just trying to delay while pretending that he's solving a problem. You can't be like heartbroken about something getting delayed for people when you're the guy who did the delay like on purpose.
Yeah, no, that was my takeaway too, is like he's saying it's going to be an honor for him to like resolve this issue. And it's like, brother, the issue is specifically because of your administration. You could have just paid it out to begin with.
You could have just done it, yeah.
And none of this would have been a problem. Like, he wants us to give him a round of applause for not even really solving, just like capitulating on an issue that he started.
And it's crazy because capitulation really is the right word. And because it's so damning to like what his position is. Like, he joined the fight against hunger on the side of hunger, and then thought he'd get applause for being made to feed people.
Yeah.
The Trump administration like went and like argued that, no, we can't do this. We absolutely cannot give SNAP benefits out for no reason other than just to hurt people.
It was a negotiation leverage point.
Yeah, and maybe try and so that they can blame it on Democrats, so that they could hurt people by making them even more food insecure in the meantime, and then hurt people in the future by making their ACA premiums skyrocket. Mm-hmm. Like everything they do, they're fighting all the wrong battles, man. I'm telling you. Yeah. I can't believe you are fighting on the side of hunger.
Yeah, I am glad Democrats stood their ground here. I'm glad the legal system stepped in and said like, hey dog, fucking lock in and do your job.
Yes.
But it's crazy that they were going to purposefully use mass waves of hunger because of this like delay or complete absence of SNAP benefits as a way to negotiate against having to pay out tax credits for ACA premiums.
Like, none of this is necessary.
No.
Like, this is all just a wholly unnecessary fight that just exists to like hurt people. Mm-hmm. I truly don't understand why Trump is thinking that it's like more politically advantageous for him to go into another shutdown, which will probably be the longest one ever.
Oh yeah,
because there's no signs of it letting up. And I mean, if it gets to Wednesday, right, then it becomes the longest shutdown ever.
Or actually, I think it's tomorrow.
Trump will have the longest shutdown ever again. Mm-hmm. Just so that he can force people to pay higher premiums for healthcare. And then we get into the 60 Minutes interview where he was asked about like the ACA premiums and whatnot. And he's like, Obamacare is a bad plan. Obamacare is bad. Obamacare is bad healthcare and it's too expensive. So your plan is to make it more expensive? You think something is more expensive and bad, so you think you should make it more expensive then to what? It's just like back in, what was it, the 2020 election when he was debating Joe Biden, back when Joe Biden was like cogent, could deliver an argument. A little bit cogent, a little bit better than what was going on right now. And he said something along the lines of, I have concepts of a plan.
No, that was against Kamala Harris.
That was against Kamala Harris?
Yeah, that was 2024, baby.
Oh my God. He's had years. He's had like a decade to figure this out.
I think it's clear that he has never, ever had a healthcare plan.
No, absolutely not. And it's clear that he will never, ever have a healthcare plan. He just wants to dismantle Obamacare, I don't know, for the insurance industry or whatever it is, because he was going on to say, well, once the Democrats give up all their leverage, then we'll negotiate.
It doesn't... Yeah.
Who?
And like the ACA was obviously, like, it's hard to talk about the ACA because it's like a landmark piece of legislation in the sense that like the healthcare system before that was incredibly brutal, and now it's a little bit less brutal.
Yes.
And all the advancements that the ACA made were important and were necessary, and still it is not nearly enough to fix the system that we have. And Trump's only plan is to unroll some of that progress, to move backwards on some of that progress.
And so much of why the ACA like is bad in ways or doesn't go far enough in ways is because Republicans were like, fuck this bill.
Yeah.
We are going to do everything in our power possible to not allow this to pass. And I mean, they almost completely gutted it in Trump's first term if it wasn't for John McCain.
Yeah, rest in peace, King.
Like, what the hell, man?
Rest in power, John McCain.
I'm saying.
Yeah. No, it's real bad, but fuck. SNAP is at least alive for now.
Yeah, so at least benefits will be paid out at 50%. Some of the judges are saying that they need to move money around to figure out how to pay 100% of the benefits possibly. So maybe we'll see more rulings go on. Maybe we'll see other legal battles mount as states come together, attorney generals come together to like sue the administration again to get more benefits. I don't know if this lasts through November. I really don't know what happens if not only contingency funds run completely dry, but they can't figure out where to move money from, or wherever they do move money from ends up being a place they couldn't move money from. So things suck really bad, and I think that the Republicans should cave.
Yeah, no, I'll agree. Republicans should
Huge agree.
It's just crazy to me how like Trump fought tooth and nail to make sure ICE agents are getting funding, right? They are still getting paid. Fought
But
tooth and
National
nail.
Guard isn't getting paid.
That's awesome.
That's so funny to me, actually.
Well, I thought most of the I thought military was getting paid.
I had seen, or at least I had read somewhere, that the National Guard wasn't getting paychecks right now.
Whatever, dude.
That's what I'm saying.
So ICE agents are getting paid. Most of the military is getting paid, but they fought so hard against actually funding SNAP with money that was already allocated to the program.
Yes, literally just to hold 42 million Americans who are food insecure hostage. And it's like 50% benefits. Obviously, anything is better than 0% benefits, right? But like when SNAP is already a program that people still struggle while they are on, 50% benefits is like a devastating thing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Like this is like a win, but it's not like a win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is still a situation where Trump did force these people to go hungrier than they needed to be. He did force these people into a situation that is worse than what they had before. He did make 42 million Americans' lives materially worse because he wants to play political games.
Yeah.
And I think that's important when we're talking about like the context of the shutdown, although I don't think that's a message that's ever really going to permeate to like enough people to actually stick. But a lot of what I've seen when it comes to the shutdown or whether or not Democrats can continue it is that these politicians are playing games with people's lives.
Yeah.
And that is what's happening. Although I would argue that it is important that we're assigning blame to the appropriate politicians and we recognize which politicians are actually playing games with your lives. And it's the ones who want to make them worse.
Yeah.
Who want to make your life worse.
The thing that gets me is like there are millions and millions of people on Snap that voted for Donald Trump.
Yes.
Like he just does not give a shit about his own voters. And it's like on a broader point, where you send money, especially during a crisis like a government shutdown, is representative of what you value, right? The Trump administration did everything it could to make sure that ICE was still getting funding, that they were still sending money to the military so the military members were getting paid, but they fought against actually spending money that they already had to fund the SNAP program. Like, if that doesn't show you what they value, then I don't know what does. They value being able to carry out their deportation operations. They don't give a shit about if low-income people can eat or not, if kids can eat or not.
No, they absolutely do not give a shit. It's ridiculous. Looking at this on the National Guard, apparently some National Guard troops who are on full-time active duty have continued to collect paychecks during the shutdown, but most have not. Most of the National Guard is still going without pay. From the NPR article that was published on Halloween, some U.S. troops get paid today, but National Guard faces additional complications. Okay. So not even like all the troops are getting paid. Like Trump is continuing to just play games with these people. And it's like soldiers aren't the richest people around.
No.
Soldiers do not go to the military to make like doctor money, to make bank and then go like live lavishly, right? A lot of soldiers are still living paycheck to paycheck while they are on active duty service and whatnot. Like any lapse in funding like sucks for anyone who is paid by the federal government, and the Republicans are continually choosing to make that worse once again because they want you to pay more for healthcare.
Yeah. And
What?
like, and the move to like fund the troops is just a virtue signal.
Oh, 100%. Like, come on. Like, why is it that they need to be funded more than like any of the other federal workers who are probably also living paycheck to paycheck? You know what I'm saying?
You tell me the Medicaid office couldn't use that? Like, I'm sorry, but like and like Democrats probably would have done the same thing because like
course, it's troops and farmers.
They all do it. Yeah, exactly. It's troops and farmers. But like, so that's a virtue signal. But the ICE thing is like, okay, you care more about deportations than feeding people, and that's just I don't know, man. That's not a program I can sign on to.
Like it's like where their priorities lie is just in all of the worst and most wrong things.
Yeah, and we can keep talking about those priorities because we got more shutdown news here. Aside from SNAP being kind of resolved, we'll see what happens there. It seems like this is going to be the longest shutdown in U.S. history. We can't say that yet because it's only Monday for us, but I'm guessing it's going to be the longest.
I think it's if they fail to vote to open the government tomorrow night, then it just is the longest shutdown in history. And I honestly, maybe that shit just does not matter to a regular person, but I would not want to be the president and take the gamble that I could win this battle on being not only this being the longest shutdown in history, but my second longest shutdown in history. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, and like think about it. Like we had Trump 1, shutdown.
Yeah.
Joe Biden, no shutdown.
No shutdown whatsoever.
Trump 2, shutdown.
Crazy.
What are we doing?
What are we doing, guys? I think the proof is in the pudding.
I see a pattern.
It's right there in front of your eyes, guys. You just have to open them and see.
Now, thankfully, SNAP is still paying out at least a little bit, but SNAP is hardly the only program that will or has suffered under this shutdown. On Saturday, the Head Start program lost all of its funding.
Oh.
So that's bad. If you don't know from NBC, quote, Head Start classrooms, which are federally funded, provide free learning programs, health health screenings and meals to young children from low-income families. Individual programs operate on different fiscal calendars, meaning that some, like Tallahassee's, have already missed federal funds that were supposed to arrive at the start of October. These programs serve more than 6,500 children, according to the National Head Start Association, and in total, Head Start serves almost 60,000 students or kids nationwide.
Oh, it's another instance of kids going hungry because the Trump administration doesn't want to do anything about it.
Yeah, and like Head Start is one of those like very basic good government things.
Yeah.
Like we want to prepare low-income students for like public education. Very simple.
Yeah. Oh, school and food.
School and food and health screenings. Like very, very simple thing to do for students that are starting with disadvantages because they're from low-income families, right? It's one of the very basic things that we can do for people. And it's run out of money because of the shutdown. So
cool.
There you go.
Again, like I hate to like beat a dead horse with this, but like there are going to be a lot of dead horses when people don't sign up for healthcare. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Like I hate to beat a dead horse, but this is all again because Trump wants to make people who get their health insurance through the ACA marketplace. He wants to make their health insurance more expensive.
Yeah, and let's talk about that health insurance.
Oh my goodness.
Another issue with this shutdown lasting so long, and in fact, the reason that the shutdown started is that open enrollment just began for healthcare plans, and premiums are skyrocketing actively.
Nice. Predictably,
right now.
as literally everyone knew, as we have known since the big beautiful bill passed in July.
Yes, absolutely. So from KFF, quote, the amount health insurers charge for coverage on the ACA marketplace is rising 26% on average in 2026. In states that run their own marketplaces, the average benchmark silver premium on which the tax credit calculation is based is rising 17% this year. In states that use healthcare.gov, these premiums are rising an average of 30%.
Nice.
Moreover, quote, if the enhanced premium tax credits expire at the end of this year, KFF estimates that currently subsidized enrollees will see their monthly premium payments more than double, increasing by about 114% on average.
Nice.
104. Your healthcare premiums are going to double because Republicans don't want to reinstate premium tax credits that were there last year.
Exactly. This is just a return to the status quo.
Yeah.
They want to take this away from you. It's not that the Democrats were demanding more. It's that they were demanding the same.
Yeah.
The same status quo that is already borderline unaffordable. And now from ABC News as of November 1st, here's the headline. Obamacare enrollees see premiums spike over 300% as sign-up period begins.
Yeah.
Because we are in the sign-up period right now. The whole point of this current shutdown fight was to avoid getting to November 1st when people would see their premium skyrocket and have to make the hard decision to either eat the like hit to their budget or just not get healthcare for the next year.
Yeah, listener, if you don't have healthcare through your job or through your parents or something like that, and you're going to enroll right now through the ACA, through the government's marketplace for healthcare, you will see the increased premiums.
That's crazy.
Like that's something you can go and see for yourself right now. This isn't some like abstract thing that only a subset of people are dealing with. It is the millions and millions and millions of people that rely on ACA marketplaces to get their healthcare. And so not only are healthcare prices increasing generally because capitalism moment, you know what I mean? But they're also increasing specifically because the government took subsidies away. The Republican Party took specific subsidies away that were making healthcare cheaper for everybody on an ACA plan.
And it's like, it's interesting how like hard line they are about this too, because like what we saw when we were doing the one big beautiful bill stuff was that they wanted to avoid the things that would make people's lives materially worse immediately and push those till after the midterms so they wouldn't have to suffer the immediate electoral consequences of it. Except for like these. Like now it's like we get to the shutdown and they're leaning into the things that make people's lives materially worse now, just on the off chance that they could maybe blame Democrats when they can't. Because there was a new poll that just came out that shows that the majority of Americans are still blaming Trump and the Republicans for it.
Makes sense to me, man.
They have continuously blamed Trump and the Republicans time after time for the last, 33, 34, 35 days, whatever we're at now?
Yeah.
And they still think that they can just intentionally make your life suck because maybe they can get one over.
I wonder if it's just like an Obamacare thing. Like if Trump was like, it's Obama, get it out. Like I don't want to negotiate any further.
Well, I don't think it helps that interviewers are engaging with it on the terms of Obamacare. I don't think it helps that ABC is publishing headlines as an Obamacare premium spike because Obamacare was already a term that was like thrust onto the ACA to make it seem worse to attach Obama's name to something that they made people believe was like unpopular.
Yeah, and that campaign worked, right? Like when people were polled about Obamacare versus the ACA, the same thing, they had more negative perceptions of Obamacare. Obamacare, despite it being the exact same
I remember
policy.
being in like, I don't know, 5th grade or whatever, and being like, yeah, Obamacare, that thing sucks, doesn't it? Because that's like all you heard about.
And like, I'm pretty sure Obamacare was like based off of Romney Care, which is a thing he did in Massachusetts when he was like, it wasn't like a brand new thing, you know what I mean? Important in many ways, but like it wasn't everything it needed to be. But so that's the healthcare premiums. Your premiums are actively going up if you purchase your healthcare separate from your employer. And Trump had something to say about this.
Okay. Oh,
Trump has been pondering for a while how this government shutdown should end. He's been trying to think of an out. He just went on his trip to a bunch of different Asian countries, and I guess he's had some time on Air Force One to get to pondering.
He's been thinking.
And he's written a treatise on how he thinks the government shutdown should be resolved. And I want to read just a snippet of this very long Truth Social post. Okay. And I think you all might, this might force you into a 1,000-yard stare moment, because it certainly did for me. It says, quote, "It is now time for the Republicans to play their Trump card." That's not even the best part. "And go for what is called the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. If the Democrats ever came back into power, which would be made easier for them if the Republicans are not using the great strength and policies made available to us by ending the filibuster, the Democrats will exercise their rights, and it will be done in the first day they take office, regardless of whether or not we do it."
What Democrats are these? I would like some of these Democrats. I would love to have the Democrats that these people fearmonger about and talk about actually in office to do things, but those are not the Democrats that they will be fighting against. Oh my God. If anything, we're going to get to the point where maybe the Democrats take power again. We're going to have conversations about the filibuster because it's stopping them from doing a good thing, and they're going to say, remember when Donald Trump wanted to get rid of the filibuster?
Exactly.
On that, I'm never going to get it taken away.
Well, in fact, that was the argument about the filibuster when Joe Biden won and there was a Democratic trifecta in 2021.
Yeah.
Was that like, oh, Republicans are eventually going to come back into power. We should keep the filibuster around for that reason. And it didn't go away, and it halted a bunch of progress. And now Trump is in power and there's a Republican trifecta. And now apparently they're having the same argument that we had. And it's just absurd.
It's also, it seems like nobody wants the filibuster.
Nobody wants it, but the parties are going to keep it so they have something to blame when they can't get anything done.
That's incredibly real.
And to your point about like the Democrats are going to do this, and I wish the Democrats were actually that cool. People keep saying, or actually Mike Johnson specifically keeps saying that like the Democratic Party is the party of Chuck Schumer and AOC.
Interesting that you'd put what about
are
those
you talking about
is like connected in any way, really.
What are you talking about, dog? Like, I wish it was the party of AOC. Nobody fucking listens to AOC. Are you kidding?
It's the party of Chuck Schumer and like a bunch of other hymns.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So Trump wants to abolish the filibuster now. I'm tired of this, man.
Yeah, no, I am tired of this. I can't wait to see a bunch of people who are like, oh, abolish the filibuster, and everybody being like reactionarily not do it now. And I'm not going to lie, that wave hit me for like a second, but then I'm like, I don't know. It's still like a thing that kind of sucks.
Yeah. No,
do other countries have filibuster-like things?
Not.
I was going to say, it's like, it just doesn't like I get it. I get why you would think the filibuster is a good idea, but in reality, it really does just halt progress. It really does just stop us from like doing anything.
And it's not even in the Constitution. It's just a Senate rule.
It's just a rule.
It's not real. Like it's just like a random thing that they made up like a couple decades, I think, after the country started.
Democrats love making up rules and then holding themselves to those rules when they just like don't matter. They just love rules. They love a rules-based order.
Yeah, no, I am in favor of keeping the filibuster until we can actually do something about it. But I don't think Democrats think that way.
No, for real.
So I think I'm
well,
sort of
the
in
Democrats
the
would probably be like, yeah, let's get rid of the filibuster for Trump because then it'd be fair. You know what I'm like,
dude? If Democrats,
my Democrats, the Democrats that I know and love that I have to deal with and see all the time, would probably be like, well, now let's do a bipartisan filibuster reform bill under Trump and let him, I don't know, run through and kill the federal government and everything else, and then maybe one time we'll get into power and we can do something.
Yeah,
like raise taxes in a means-tested way, 1.5% on blah blah blah.
Yeah, we're gonna fiddle with the knobs. We're gonna fiddle with the knobs.
Yeah, when Trump gets rid of the filibuster, we can, I don't know, do evil and nefarious things to immigrants.
Denaturalize Hassan Piker.
Denaturalize Hassan Piker. But then when Democrats get rid of the filibuster, they can just play with the knobs a little bit on tax policy and first-time home buyer assistance and whatever.
Incremental change, brother. I love it. I love it. Yeah, no, I mean, like, the filibuster is fundamentally anti-democratic, as is the Senate itself as an institution.
Yeah.
But so is everything that the Trump administration is trying to do. So I think two negatives make a positive, and that's the right position.
Exactly.
I am in favor of the filibuster as a bulwark against them.
Because it's like, Jesus Christ, we can't ever get anything done.
Yeah.
We just can't do anything, man. We can't pass any laws. People talk about how government's so unproductive, and it's like, that's like why right there.
Yeah.
It really is. I think the safeguard to stopping somebody like Trump from abusing no filibuster would just be to not get Trump in office.
Mm-hmm.
And just, I don't know, have Democrats that can message a la Zoran Maldani in the conversation we had at the top of the show.
That'd be pretty sick.
That would be cool. New Democrats, shouts out. But not my Democrats, not these Democrats, man. You know, sometimes it just feels like all the news happens on Monday and Tuesday.
It's messed up.
But my favorite podcast drops episode on Wednesdays. I don't know what to do. It feels like they miss all of it.
That's a curse.
If only there was a platform that I could go to where I could listen to these episodes early, maybe when they record them. Do you have any thoughts?
Boy, do I have a solution for you.
Oh, do tell.
If you head over to patreon.com/headintheofficepod, you can listen to Head in the Office episodes before the curse of Monday and Tuesday news comes out.
Really? Do tell.
And you get access to commercial-free episodes. And everybody wants commercial-free
I bet
episodes.
there's also a whole host of other benefits and community engagement that they offer.
And friendship.
Very true.
Who
and
doesn't
that's
want friendship?
The most important thing.
Absolutely.
In times like this.
Back to the episode. Moving on to immigration news.
We love immigration here on this podcast.
We got some updates on the immigration front. I will say, first off, on the subject of denaturalization, there's been a lot of right-wingers, like, in the government, literally talking about denaturalizing Ilhan Omar.
Oh my! Oh, you know what? I have seen that,
troubling
yeah.
development.
That is a troubling development. Like that should not. Wasn't there somebody in like the House that advanced like a dual loyalty like bill?
That's
and I think
crazy.
I think you might have literally called it the dual loyalty bill or something like that. Because the whole thing is about like, oh, somebody, it's dual loyalty. Like somebody who was born somewhere else can't possibly be loyal to America. Really?
Brother, what the fuck?
Like it's just like weird all around.
Yeah, we're taking like all the anti-Semitic tropes from the Nazis, but like applying them to Muslim people nowadays. It's actually fucking insane. But yeah, so that's been bad on the immigration front. But we also got some broader news, just all bad altogether.
All bad.
Protests are continuing against ICE in Chicago, and they're now trying to literally silence dissent. As I say, bad things. So, Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, a Democratic candidate for Congress in Illinois, has been charged with a felony. Along with 5 other Chicago protesters, allegedly for blocking a vehicle outside of the Broadview ICE facility.
Felony for blocking a vehicle?
She's been hit with a felony charge. Her and 5 others.
What, for blocking a vehicle?
Yeah, the indictment alleges that Abu-Ghazaleh and the 5 others, quote, banged on the car, pushed against it, broke a mirror, and scratched the text "pig" into the vehicle. Moreover, the indictment says, quote, they, quote, physically hindered and impeded a federal agent who was, quote, forced to drive at an extremely slow rate of speed to avoid injuring any of the conspirators.
The conspirators?
Yeah.
I love when they have to like do these like legal things to like, obviously this is a bad thing. Obviously like whatever's going on, like blah, 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 charging like somebody's running for, like that sucks, blah, 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 whatever. But it's like, I love when they have to describe this in legal terms because it just makes them seem so lame.
Yeah. It's a slap suit through and through. Like it's an attempt to silence a group of people, one of them being like a prominent candidate, an internet figure, and then force everybody else into compliance based on the fear that will happen to them.
Did that actually even happen?
Oh, I don't know.
They're just throwing
sort of
charges.
claiming that. I wouldn't be surprised. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if a vehicle was blocked. But
like,
is that a felony?
Yeah, and she and many others have been at this Broadview ICE facility, have been protesting it, have been getting in the way of operations and stuff like that. But it's like, yeah, like people should be protesting this and should be against it. And do you really think that like slapping a car or standing in front of a car is like that bad of a thing to do?
And that's been a thing that's been like happening for a while now. Like
that's a classic protest.
I was gonna say protesters love stopping traffic.
Shout out Tiananmen Square.
Real protesters love stopping traffic and like getting in front of vehicles to stop them from moving and stuff. And I don't think I've ever seen anyone get slapped with a felony for that before.
Yeah, and like just consider what she's actually protesting, right? Because we're in an environment where ICE is snatching up kids and citizens and immigrants alike, doing 2 a.m. Raids on apartment buildings on behalf of slumlords, literally shooting priests in the head with pepper balls. Like, it is galling to think that the person getting charged with a felony is a person protesting all of that. It's just absurd. It's simply absurd. It's simply absurd.
It is absurd.
And I hope she doesn't get hit with the RICO. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And then her entire campaign gets hit with the RICO because they're like, well, this is your ringleader that was going out doing this. Well, look at what you guys are doing.
Yeah. I bring this up because like it seems like a sort of isolated thing. but she is running for Congress.
Yeah.
And she is a sort of prominent figure right now. And if they're going to start going after people for stuff that's so minor, like getting in the way of an ICE vehicle, I wonder how else it will escalate.
Yeah, because it's also like, I highly doubt that somebody running for Congress in like a very like high profile figure, at least within like the political world.
She had an online following beforehand.
Yeah, she has the online following beforehand. She's been going on the CNN, like whatever show where they sit around that round table all the time. Like I constantly see her out and doing messaging and doing media and whatnot.
Yeah, she's goated.
I highly doubt that somebody with that much of like a profile and a presence who's running for a campaign for office would go out and like vandalize government property. I highly doubt she carved pig into the side of the vehicle.
Well, one of her conspirators did.
Or intentionally went out to like do something that is just blatantly illegal like that would get her slapped with a charge.
Yeah.
Like that just feels not real to me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's absurd, and I think a bad sign for where we're going. Beyond
the property damage, I mean,
Yeah, beyond people, yeah, exactly. Beyond people being cracked down on by the law, we should take a look at one of the law enforcement officers doing the cracking.
Okay.
And I'm talking about Cosplay Christie.
Cosplay Christie. Man, I was at the airport. I was at the airport this week, and at DTW in Detroit and in Orlando, I saw the Christie Nome video.
Oh, really?
Security, yes.
I was at the airports like a week ago, and I didn't see any Christie Nome video. Maybe I wasn't looking for it,
at DTW, at least at the Evans terminal, it was like tucked away in the corner.
Oh.
Like where you'd go to get on like a United flight and whatnot, and I couldn't hear it. So I don't know if they just weren't playing the audio or if it was very low in the corner, but it was at least on.
Man, that's awesome if they were like required to play it and they just muted it in the corner. Shout out DTW.
Shout out DTW.
Y'all aren't getting paid anything. So.
No, that's what I was thinking when I was going through security. I was like, I can't feel bad if you're irritated right now. Or I can't be mad if you're irritated with me right now.
But we got a clip from Cosplay Christie this week. She was doing a press conference. I don't know exactly where she is, but she was taking some questions from reporters. And somebody bravely asked her, why are you grabbing citizens? Why is ICE in their operations when you say you're going after undocumented immigrants? Why are you like grabbing American citizens and detaining them? Because this is something they have been reported to have been doing. And she offers her answer, maybe the first time a Trump official has been asked this question, which like, media, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But she has an answer for this question, and I think it might surprise you.
Okay. I'm ready to be surprised.
There's no American citizens have been arrested or detained. We focus on those that are here illegally, and anything that you would hear or report that would be different than that is simply not true or false reporting. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
And then she leaves. And then she just leaves. She just leaves.
Don't we literally know of citizens who have been at least detained by ICE? Like it happens all the time.
ICE has detained dozens and dozens of citizens across the country.
ICE is allowed to profile people now per the Supreme Court.
Yeah, and in fact they've detained children as well.
Yeah.
And even at that, more specifically at that raid that ICE conducted on the apartment building in Chicago back at the beginning of October, residents that got grabbed reported them grabbing literally everybody they could. Citizens, immigrants, and undocumented immigrants alike. Like, it's just a lie that ICE hasn't been detaining citizens.
And it's like, I feel like when it comes to like the general public, like if we're talking about the swing voters that like, you know, like do somehow like exist within this country, the people who can be like swayed sometimes during elections, conservatives that exist like in the middle that maybe don't like Trump but still vote for him because like taxes, I don't know. I feel like the administration's like blatant and bold lies like this is what's kind of going to be part of their undoing, because like it's just clear and obvious that you have grabbed citizens, that you have detained citizens. It's clear and obvious that so many of the things that have happened. Why can you not just go out there and say, yes, some ICE officers have accidentally detained the wrong people. We've dealt with this information, blah, blah, blah. They're like the fucking like IDF.
Yeah, no, they
just can't admit they're doing anything wrong.
They can't admit they're doing anything wrong. They want you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears. And like even beyond just citizenship, right? Because they say they're not grabbing citizens, they obviously are. Her claim was that they only go after quote unquote illegal immigrants, but even that isn't true, right?
Yeah.
This administration started off grabbing Mahmoud Khalil and Ramesa Ozturk off of the streets, ICE agents, because they wrote op-eds that Marco Rubio didn't like.
Oh my God, yeah, they got the college students who write op-eds that nobody reads.
Exactly.
They didn't do anything wrong.
It has never been true that this administration is only going after undocumented immigrants. When they were on the campaign trail and Trump kept saying 30 million undocumented immigrants, we said it wasn't true that they were only going to go after the criminals. criminals or whatever. It was always a lie, and they continue to lie.
And it's also like criminals, like notoriously not easy to find.
Of course.
Criminals, not law-abiding citizens. Criminals don't report to their ICE appointments every year like so many of the people that they've chosen to grab.
Yeah, they're grabbing people out of courthouses.
Exactly.
They're grabbing people as they pick their kids up from school.
They're grabbing people who showed up to the ICE facility like voluntarily because they needed to do their check-in.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I'm sorry, but you are not grabbing the violent criminals. You are not focusing on the violent criminals. Everything they say is just a lie, and it's so bold, and it's honestly so tiring.
Yeah. They grab the street vendors. They grab the parents picking their kids up from school. It's absurd. It's absurd. But that's immigration news for this week, and that's just more bad shit that's happening. We interrupt this episode of Head in the Office to remind you to stay warm.
Yeah, remind you that it's getting cold outside, and I'm a little chilly.
I wish I had a new hoodie I could wear.
A new comfortable hoodie in a green like money colorway, or even a gray colorway.
And, maybe my head is cold. Maybe I need something to make my head warm.
Exactly, like a beanie.
And on top of all of that, maybe I want to support my favorite podcast, the #1 geopolitical podcast, #1 domestic politics podcast,
#1 election podcast.
Maybe I want to support them and get all the stuff that we've talked about. And you can do that if you head over to headintheoffice.com and get in on our merch.
It's pretty good. And, if you want it to last, it's all embroidered.
Yeah, it's perfect for the winter. It's perfect for you. And it's perfect for a gift as we head into the holidays. So head over to headintheoffice.com, support the show.
But now that we're done with immigration, now that we've talked about the shutdown, now that we've talked about SNAP, I think it is time that we put our geopolitical hats back on and we start talking about some geopolitical issues.
We do got to talk about geopolitical issues. And this week, we're talking about Sudan.
We are talking about Sudan.
Yeah. Not because it's become trendy.
Shout out Cory Booker.
But because, wait, what did Cory Booker do?
Why aren't you guys talking about Sudan?
Oh my God. Yeah, no, we got some words for people who say that kind of thing a little bit later on. But so there's been a civil war in Sudan for a couple of years now. Sudan has been a tumultuous place for a long time. There's a brief period where maybe there was going to be like a peace established and then more fighting broke out and so on and so on. But there's a reason that we're talking about it now, and it's because there's been a major turning point in very obviously what is another genocide that's happening in the world. And spoiler alert, it's got some U.S. involvement in it because of course it does.
Yeah, it does suck really bad.
And we'll get into the details here in a few minutes, but I think there's a couple reasons that we should knock out of the way first. For why people pay this conflict much less attention than, say, Israel-Palestine, right?
Yeah.
And that applies to us too, right? We've talked about Israel and Palestine like frequently.
Since episode 1 of the show.
Since episode 1 of the show, we've been talking about Palestinians broadly. Before October 7th, we would every once in a while talk about some insane human right abuse.
Like when the AP building got bombed.
And then obviously post-October 7th, a lot of the world has been focusing on Israel and Palestine. But there's a couple reasons, I think, even with the ongoing civil war and the ongoing ethnic cleansing that's happening now in Sudan, that Israel-Palestine gets a bit more attention. First of all, what's happening in Sudan and the broader connections to the United States and the West through the UAE is a bit more complicated than just the U.S. is giving money to Israel to kill these civilians, right? That's a lot more easy for people to actively understand than the multiple layers of complexities between the U.S. funding the UAE funding the RSF, and all the complications.
And it's also like there isn't a clear and direct foreign lobbying effort a la AIPAC, NORPAC, J Street that's actually here in the United States and has a clear and present impact on what our senators and representatives are doing.
Yeah.
Like Sudan isn't like paying Cory Booker hundreds of thousands of dollars to go and talk about it.
Yeah.
But AIPAC is.
Yeah. And I'll also note that the RSF makes use of a lot of mercenaries that aren't like directly connected to the UAE or the United States in the way that the IDF is obviously connected to the Israeli government.
It's like proxy on proxy on proxy.
Yeah, it's complicated, and those complexities make it harder for the sort of average American or the average voter, the average taxpayer, to understand what our money is doing over there in a way that isn't very complicated when you look at Israel and Palestine, us obviously giving them money to kill Palestinians, right? The complications are a lot more obvious. Second off, this is a civil war, right? Which is distinct from what Israel is doing in Gaza. What Israel is doing to Palestinians is not anything like a civil war, right? Nobody is fighting back. It is just endless slaughter. What's happening in Sudan is an established civil war, although things are getting much worse over the past week or so, and we'll talk about that. Not to say that the situation in Sudan isn't bad. It's just like fundamentally different on a geopolitical level. And lastly, maybe most importantly, people have limited attention spans, right? There were other things that were happening when a lot of people in the United States in the 80s were focused on apartheid in South Africa. There were other atrocities that the U.S. was actively involved in publicly at the same time, but people can only focus on so many things at once. And so I think that also partly explains why people have been intimately focused on Israel-Palestine, but haven't had the attention span for something like Sudan or even Congo and so on.
And it's also it is so much easier to focus on Israel-Palestine because of the direct involvement that like my tax dollars have directly.
Yes.
Like Josh Shapiro signed a bomb that went and killed somebody.
Nikki Haley too.
Nikki Haley too.
She's just as important.
Like we have American politicians signing bombs that are going and killing Palestinian children. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot easier to make that connection. It's a lot easier to do the rhetorical work. And again, not only do like people, the general public have limited attention spans, limited like time to be able to devote to topics, but like so do we.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's why I think the Israel-Palestine thing has taken a lot more precedent than what's happening in Sudan. But like you've been alluding to this week, it was kind of insane.
Oh, yeah.
And really did like break through. What I saw, I have not generally been aware of this, one, because I've been focusing so much on Israel-Palestine and domestic news, but other just because of like what's going on. Like it was just bodies lined up on like Google satellite images.
Yeah.
Like what the hell?
Yeah, no, it's terrible. But one other point on like the complexities, like for a more like domestic comparison, it's similar to why like Watergate was a big scandal for Nixon, but Iran-Contra, despite it being much worse, like didn't matter because it was just harder to understand for the average person. Yeah. And I think that's what explains why a lot of people don't like focus on many geopolitical issues, but something like Israel-Palestine or indeed apartheid in South Africa is easier for people to latch onto because it's so obviously bad and we are so obviously complicit in what's happening or actively promoting what's happening.
Yeah.
So with that out of the way, let's get to the news. So there was a major turning point in this conflict, and that was the capture of the city of El Fasher. This is a major city on the western side of Sudan that has been under siege for quite a long time. Multiple news outlets have reported following the capture of the city that there were things like summary executions, house-to-house raids, along with many other forms of just unimaginable violence perpetuated by a group called the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF. And the RSF prior to El Fasher was already accused of, over the past year or 2 years, attempting an ethnic cleansing campaign of non-Arab populations in Sudan, which you can just read as black folks that are living in Sudan.
Okay.
Just genuinely some of like the worst crimes against humanity you can imagine. Since the start of the civil war, more than 150,000 people have been estimated to have been killed, with millions and millions more.
When did it start?
I think April of 2023.
April of 2023.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been an incredibly bloody civil war with millions and millions being displaced from their homes. So this has been a far-reaching conflict that has devastated a lot of people. And there's clearly one side here, the RSF, backed by the UAE, which backed by the United States, of course, that has been committing a disproportionate amount of violence. That's not to say that the Sudanese government itself hasn't been doing bad things. War, you know what I mean?
Course, yeah.
But the RSF has been documented to have just been brazenly killing people, civilians that are running away. As you said, there were the Google satellite images of just like pools of blood on the ground in the city. Genuinely horrible stuff.
What is it with us and allies in the Middle East that we just let do whatever they want all the time?
Free reign, man.
That's insane.
And so I guess the question now, with this conflict very clearly raging on and probably going to continue, what is the Western connection, you might be wondering? So the United States and our allies, under Democrats and Republicans, have sold weapons to the United Arab Emirates, or the UAE, which is the group that actually actively funnels weaponry and resources to the RSF. Now, the UAE denies this. But at this point, it's like so obvious that like they're just blatantly lying to media. Multiple layers of U.S. intelligence have found this. Many different independent journalism outlets have found this. They funnel weapons and resources to the RSF. It is obvious.
Okay, yeah. Makes sense.
The UAE is actively funding a genocidal proxy war with the weapons that we sell them. That is the connection.
And that's really bad.
The UAE is also like a monarchical petrostate that the U.S. actively engages with, right? We sell and trade with them. We buy oil from them. They were also party to the Abraham Accord. So the U.S. has had a large role in normalizing relationships with them and building them up as a sort of regional power. The thing that gets me, though, really is like it's a monarchy.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean we're allies with a literal monarchy?
With a king.
Yeah.
Like, it just... What happened to like all the like lies we told about spreading democracy all over the place? You know,
and it's not just the West that's involved in this conflict here. Although U.S. weapons or weapons we've sold them, and I believe weapons from the Brits were found being used by the RSF. But it's also Chinese weaponry that has been found being used by the RSF in Sudan. It's bad. It's obvious that the wealthiest nations in the world are making a lot of money off of what is an ethnic cleansing campaign.
Let me guess. It's a resource-rich region.
Yes, of course.
I love
As
that.
are many areas in the continent, right?
Yeah.
So bad.
Bad, very bad. It is funny, even back on the monarchy point, that like democracy only matters when it's a socialist. Democracy only matters when, like, I don't know, a socialist threatens to take power or somebody who's vaguely left-wing threatens to take power. It never matters when there's actually no democracy.
And even in that case, when they talk about democracy, they're talking about capitalism.
Oh, no, exactly. They're just signaling. They're lying.
But when we're dealing with like literal monarchies that are funding genocides, it's all cool because like, oh, they have a different way of life.
Exactly. Democracy is when shareholder value.
Yeah, no, it's real bad. But so that's an update on the conflict, and that's the sort of context for how we're approaching this issue. But there is that broader point, like you mentioned with Cory Booker, right? People have a tendency when you talk about Israel and Palestine to try to deflect by saying, oh, but you don't talk about Sudan, you don't talk about Congo, you don't talk about X, Y, and Z, right? The list goes on.
It's literally the your feminist name every woman.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, you like to read name every book.
Oh, you're a fan of history, name everything that's happened.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Oh, you care about one thing? Why don't you care about everything else in the world?
Some people have chosen to rhetorically deploy genocide in Sudan as a way of distracting from genocide in Gaza, right? They're trying to like pit two issues against each other. And usually this comes in the form of something along the lines of like, you say you care about genocide against Palestinians, but you never talk about Sudan, therefore you're hypocritical and you're singling out Israel or something like that. First of all, appeal to hypocrisy is a logical fallacy. We can contend with these issues individually, and that doesn't discount the other issue, you know what I mean? But the person that does this, people like Cory Booker, do not care about either issue.
Yeah.
They are trying to discount one issue that you are specifically bringing up and use it as a method of dismissing both, of never actually having to contend with both.
Well, that's why it's like the proximity thing that we talked about earlier is really so important when we look at like the landscape of how Gaza and how Sudan are talked about within American politics. Because like when somebody like Cory Booker, who is actively being paid, taking AIPAC money to do AIPAC talking points, to talk about this, to say you were singling out Israel and trying to deflect over to talk about Sudan and whatever other conflicts he brought up in that I've Had It interview, he's doing so because he knows that we can't really directly do anything about Sudan as easily as we can Israel. It's incredibly easy to turn off the money spigot to Israel. If we turn off the money spigot to the UAE, there's still other ways that they can funnel weapons over to the RSF.
They're buying Chinese weaponry.
They're buying Chinese weaponry.
And they sit on oil deposits.
The problem doesn't like start and end with us in the same way that it kind of does when we talk about Israel, although it's more complicated than just starting and ending with us. But it's like, it is an undeniable fact that we pay and we fund a huge portion of why they're able to get away with the things that we do. And you have to be curious. You have to wonder. You have to scrutinize why somebody would want you to focus on something that we have less control over.
Yeah.
It's because they don't want to actually solve the problem, or they're being like paid to not solve the problem.
And even if, in the instance of Cory Booker, like even if the accusation of hypocrisy like landed, then that still puts him in a terrible position. Because he's doing nothing about Israel, right? Like if he genuinely believes what's happening in Sudan is wrong and we should do something about it, then it doesn't track why he doesn't want to do anything about what's happening in Israel.
Yeah, exactly. When you're Cory Booker, it kind of reads as, oh, you care about Israel, Palestine. Why don't you also care about Sudan? I don't care about Israel, Palestine. I only care about like... I'm cynically deploying this to make you feel bad.
Exactly. And that's exactly what it is. Because the truth is that atrocities like we see in Palestine, in Sudan, in Congo, and so on are all a part of a broader system of imperialism spearheaded by the United States, right? In both Sudan and in Palestine, it is a U.S. ally perpetuating or supporting a genocide using weaponry given to it or sold to it by the United States.
Yeah.
That's explicitly what's happening. And in both cases, the U.S. could work to put a stop to the atrocities and won't due to economic reasons or reasons related to like regional power. These are the same in both cases. It's a part of the same broader system. And the U.S. system of imperialism is dedicated to resource extraction and forcing compliance of populations in these countries. And oftentimes the literal monarchies or ethno-states that we're in support of are allowed to do whatever they want because, again, we want that regional influence. It's not, you can't view these issues as disconnected from one another. And for the person that would cynically deploy one as a way to discount the other, they're doing so because they don't care about either.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it.
Yeah.
And if we actually want to have a principled understanding of these issues, and make it so the U.S. is less destructive globally, we have to look at them as a part of the same system and not cynically pit them against each other so we don't have to talk about either of them at all.
And it's like every time I see it, I really do just think of Cory Booker on I've Had It.
Yeah.
Because it really is just so awful. And it's like Cory Booker does like good things outside of like this foreign policy bullshit. Like he's done a lot of stuff as he made sure to talk about in the I've Had It interview. Stand. Oh my God. You talk about that book once that comes out. But like, it's just so frustrating to see him so obviously like cynically deploy this to distract you from this, and to see him like, in my opinion, pretend to care about Israel and Gaza while not actually doing anything with his seat of power, and hiding his pictures with Netanyahu. But during the starvation campaign, as I think commenters pointed out, that he took the picture with Netanyahu during the starvation campaign, saying that, oh, I'd rather be in the room. It's like, yeah, like I guess, but like you being in the room isn't really doing anything. And I think you using your voice and your platform could probably do a lot more when it comes to this, because we've seen that people using their voice and their platform has actually done a lot to like move the needle on what is and is not acceptable to the American public. Once again, once the pictures of the emaciated babies started coming out from mainstream media, the mainstream media using their voice, a lot more of the American public started to care about what was going on. You are a senator. You have a massive platform.
Yeah, and he's got access to information that we can't even imagine.
Exactly.
Right? Like, he knows exactly what's going on in Palestine. He knows exactly what's going on in Sudan. And his choice to, like you said, cynically use Sudan as a wedge against people talking about Palestine is just an attempt to ignore both of them and to sidetrack you. And on a point about Israel specifically, people like to say that you're picking on Israel if you talk about Israel and Palestine, if you talk about Gaza, but you don't talk about things like Sudan, Congo, whatever. There are always going to be other things going on.
Oh, I can't believe you arrested this murderer and not this one. But I can't believe you guys solved this cold case and not these other cold cases.
There's always going to be other atrocities that the U.S. is involved in because imperialism, right? Yeah. That's just an argument for literally never talking about Israel. And I think they know that.
Absolutely.
They just want to set up a rhetorical game where you're never allowed to talk about Israel without being at least implied to be an anti-Semite in doing so.
Nobody says we single out Putin. Yeah. Nobody says we singled out Putin in the war against Ukraine except for like insane right-wing figures. Like all of these conflicts have been going on while Ukraine has been invaded by Russia, but nobody talks about it in those terms. And I think there's like a very clear reason why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like Russia's not, well, Russia is paying some people in the U.S. to talk about things. Shout out Tim Pool. But it's not the same as what's like happening with like AIPAC and the relationships that we have with Israel. It's not a U.S. ally. Like it's just like it all sucks so bad. And I think we should call out bad things.
Yeah, no, we should call out bad things. And it's just if we want to work against this sort of system of global dominance where the U.S. has a bunch of allies all over the world, they're allowed to do whatever they want because they have something that we want, whether it's resources or regional influence or whatever. If we want to undermine that system, we got to talk about these atrocities on the same level and never pit them against each other, right? It's like viewing U.S. support for Pinochet as disconnected from Henry Kissinger's carpet bombing of Cambodia, right? These things happen on the other side of the planet, but they're in service of the same project. And if you were to put them against each other, say somebody just wanted to talk about Chile and our coup in Chile and say, oh, why don't you care about Laos and Cambodia? That would be silly.
It would be very silly.
It's all a part of the same critique. And the job of the leftists is to undermine these systems of power so that everybody can live happier, healthier, and freer. And we don't do that by motherfuckers like Cory Booker saying, oh, what about Sudan?
Huge. And it's like even back to like the Russia example about how people say we single out Israel, but nobody says we single out Russia. It's like, yeah, Israel is the ally. Like once again, it's a proximity thing. Like it's the I am right there. We obviously clearly can't tell Russia to stop, but we literally could pick up the phone and tell Israel to stop.
Yeah.
As has happened like kind of sometimes. Like I don't know, man.
Not even just picking up the phone, but like we shield Israel from all accountability through the UN.
Yeah.
We protect them on the Security Council every single time there's a vote.
We throw that veto out like it's nothing, dude.
Every single time, even when Russia's like, hey, dog, this is a bit too much.
we treat UN resolutions on telling Israel to stop like we're at a strip club with a pile of ones, man. Yeah. We are throwing those vetoes out there.
We protect them nonstop. It's not hypocritical to talk about Israel and focus on Israel and Palestine and not talk about a bunch of other stuff. These are all a part of the same critique that we should be having. And you should, of course, work to educate yourself on issues that are, cropping up around the globe. That's always a good thing to do. But we shouldn't try to distract from one by deflecting to another.
Am I remembering this wrong, or did Fetterman not like wear an Israeli flag?
He wore it as a cape.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, like we're not really doing that for other places.
Yeah, no, we never do that for like the RSF in Sudan.
Exactly.
Like,
we're not doing that.
That is insane. Yeah, no, Brian Mast isn't showing up with an RSF uniform on the floor.
Oh my God, I forgot about that too.
It's not happening, man. It's not happening.
These people are so lame.
Yeah.
Not to transition away from a serious issue to like a more non-serious issue, but like, I mean, like, come on, like these guys are so lame.
Yeah.
They just want to act and do stunts. Mm-hmm. Oh my fucking God.
Yeah, and that point you made earlier about like the UAE like has kind of its own thing going for it, and Israel like doesn't. like Israel is essentially an air base for us. The UAE does have influence aside from like the way in which it interacts with the United States. So there are many differences to these conflicts. We should try to unravel all of them. I just really despise the fact that a lot of liberals try to pit these issues against each other and just deflect so that they don't really have to think too hard about U.S. involvement and intervention globally.
Yeah.
Because that's really what it is. They just don't want to like contend with the fact that the country they live in, the country they support, is responsible for a lot of bad things throughout most of the post-war period. So,
you know, I guess like, yeah, stop selling weapons to the UAE where they're selling those weapons to bad things. Like that's something I would support. Easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like we came out with like trillions of sanctions against Russia after they invaded Ukraine. We did a number of things to pressure them internationally. What are we doing against the UAE?
Exactly. No, and that's the thing.
Like this started under Joe Biden. That's why I made the point about like Democrats and Republicans have been supportive of the UAE. We knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Like if I, a podcaster, can get access to the intelligence to determine that the UAE is funding the RSF, Joe Biden knew far before I did. And we didn't do anything about it.
Well, that's why I say it's like easy for me to go and say like, okay, yeah, stop selling weapons to the UAE then. Because like, isn't that the solution? Like, isn't the solution not just like, hey, let's do an arms embargo?
Yeah.
But I'm not seeing that get like talked about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I'm not expecting us to like put boots on the ground in Sudan and like intervene in a civil war. I just want us to not be actively connected to it and encouraging it and to use the power we have globally to put a stop to it.
Exactly. Especially when it's turning into just mass killings of civilians. Like that's really bad. That sucks really hard.
We have an enormous amount of influence. We are the United States. We're the hegemon, man. We can do something. We could do something.
Fucking we are the West.
Like we could do something about it, but instead we are unfortunately indirectly in support of it. And I don't like that.
I don't like that at all. Yeah. And I can condemn that. I can tell what's going on.
Oh.
I condemn what's going on.
Many such cases.
And I think we could arms embargo that. I'm throwing arms embargoes out all over the place. I'll just throw them out there. Let's stop selling arms. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. Let's put a hit to fucking Raytheon's revenue stream.
Exactly. A
Lockheed
hit to
Martin's
their stock price.
Come on now.
I'm huge on that. Huge, big fan of that. But this wouldn't be the #1 geopolitical podcast if we weren't also talking about apparently another geopolitical conflict that we're starting, which is shooting drug boats in international waters. Alleged drug boats in international waters. Got to throw that alleged out there because I'm of the belief that they're just killing people.
Yeah, after we recorded our last segment last week on Venezuela, I think like 2 days later, it was like, oh, Trump kills 18 more. And the Caribbean is like, well, okay, now that 43 number is outdated.
The 43 number certainly is outdated because now I believe the number is 64.
God damn it, dude.
64, and over the weekend they killed 3 more.
The term for like extrajudicially killing people is just murder.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's no war going on. This isn't like soldier versus soldier conflict or combat. This is just
that's very important for what we're going to talk about later. Okay. This is not soldier versus soldier conflict, but let's just again, like in not so surprising, but like nonetheless bold move by the Trump administration. Just like this is auxiliary to what we're actually like doing. This is like pertaining to the legality of these actions because, like you say, it's just murder. And killing people is just killing people, and you have to kind of justify it if you don't want it to be illegal. That it's one of the worst things you can do.
Yeah, and in fact, I can't stress like how completely sauceless this is.
Yes.
Like obviously killing people bad, and I'm not trying to like downplay that, but like they're not even trying to convince the public that this is a thing we should do.
Yeah, it's like not to like make light of the situation because again, it's horrible, it's abhorrent, I condemn. But like Trump is beefing with fishermen to what?
But
Trump is just killing fishermen to what? It's so bold and it's so like gross.
Like Bush lied for a year and a half.
Yeah.
To manufacture consent, and it worked. Like we can't even try. Like they're just doing it and saying like, "Fuck you guys, I'm gonna kill more people."
just sucks.
Yeah, it
everything sucks.
Everything
it's like
sucks.
they're just lying about the ICE agents. They're just lying about this. Like everything that comes out of all these administration officials' mouths is just a lie, and they're not good at it. Like you said, like Bush lied for a year.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not good at lying.
And I just I don't know. We always say that like Trump is Biden. They are the same. But I'm starting to think Trump is Bush, just like without the sauce. And that's hard to say because Bush didn't have sauce.
You remember when Ben Shapiro went on the, not like racist rant, but made the racist remark about how rap is a degradation of jazz and jazz is a degradation of classical music? Mm-hmm. It's like it's like that's what Trump is.
Yeah.
Like I guess Biden maybe is a degradation of Bush, and Trump is a degradation of Biden. I don't know, man. Or Trump is a combination of both Biden and Bush.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I would say it's probably like 75% Biden, 25% Bush.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely more Biden coded than he is Bush coded, but there's definitely some Bush in there based on how eager he is to just kill people.
His legacy at last, man. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. But once again, back to like the news that came out, right? Trump's Justice Department told Congress that it doesn't need congressional approval for the alleged drug boat strikes and that the administration is not bound by the War Powers Act.
Oh, okay.
They just said, nuh-uh.
Cool.
And reminder, like the War Powers Act came about in the 70s after Vietnam because Congress recognized that the Vietnam War was expanded like crazy style.
Oh, yeah.
And we shouldn't let that happen.
In ways they
bad.
didn't even know at that point.
Exactly, in ways they didn't know. So they tried to limit the president's power that they had taken like pretty much unconstitutionally away from Congress to wage war and bring it back to them.
And Nixon was like, no, guys, don't. And then they were like, veto overturn.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was the history at least.
Something along those lines. I was trying to read about it, but yeah, fuck that guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Huge on that. But
we're coming out against Nixon on this podcast.
And now Trump is saying, yeah, that just doesn't apply. That's just not me right now. So under the War Powers Act, the president has to give a 48 hours notice to operations that Congress has not approved of yet. Very important since, once again, Congress is at least supposed to be the branch that declares war and authorizes like military action. For reasons we've talked about before, they just kind of gave up on doing that recently, but still, it's supposed to apply. And why does the administration think that the War Powers Act doesn't apply to the drug boat killings? Why do you think the administration doesn't think it applies to them? Maybe not. If you're ignoring the spoiler you might have seen in the show notes.
I didn't look at the spoiler.
Okay.
So I'm coming at this just as an intellectual.
Yeah.
And the confusing part to me is that Trump and Hegseth have repeatedly said, we are waging war on the cartels in Venezuela. They've said this verbatim. They've said, we are waging war.
It's almost like they're saying, we have the power to do war. I will act in my power to do war.
Yeah, so they're saying it verbatim. So I have no idea what argument they're advancing.
They're trying to advance a legal justification, and the legal justification is that the people on the boats can't shoot back.
Oh, so it's not a war.
It's like literally, yeah. Like it's we're killing people who are defenseless. Therefore, it's okay. From the New York Times, a key portion of the War Powers Act reads that a president who unilaterally deploys U.S. forces into hostilities, quote, shall terminate the operation after 60 days if Congress has not authorized it by then. But the legislation left the term hostilities vague. In a statement provided by the White House, an unnamed senior administration official said that the American service members were not in danger because the boats suspected of smuggling drugs were mostly being struck by drones from far from naval ships carrying U.S. forces. Here's a quote from that senior official.
Oh my God.
Quote, the operation comprises precise strikes conducted largely by unmanned aerial vehicles launched from naval vessels in international waters at distances too far away for the crews of the targeted vessels to endanger American personnel.
Oh my God.
In other words, killing is only bad when it happens to me, and because they can't fight back, we can do it.
Yeah, brother, that's fucking crazy.
That's insane.
What are we doing?
That's absolutely nuts. You can't tell me that when Congress authored the War Powers Act, that they genuinely thought like it was cool if we just like killed people as long as they couldn't kill us back. You cannot tell me that anyone would think that's a reasonable interpretation of the law.
Yeah.
Like, but honestly, what even surprised me more than Trump's boldness in doing this and saying, no, we can kill people because they can't kill us, was that other presidents have like tried to do this.
Oh, really?
Like other presidents have tried to advance this like same justification, have tried to interpret hostilities in this way. Like Obama and I believe Bill Clinton also tried to do these things when it came to the NATO invasion of Libya.
Okay.
Something along those lines. But either way, like, there were NATO operations going on that America was participating in under previous presidents, that presidents were engaging with beyond the 60-day limit that the War Powers Act imposes, and they were trying to argue these things. What happened in previous administrations was not as bold as what's happening now, and there was more context to do it, but still nonetheless controversial when they did. So I can't imagine that this could be like allowed. Like, come on, man.
And like this is obvious. This is absurd on its face, because imagine if another country did this to us.
Yes.
Right. Like, imagine if it was American fishermen out in the Pacific Ocean or something like that, and a Chinese drone came by and killed them. We would consider that an act of war.
Because it is.
Because it would be. Even though those fishermen couldn't shoot back, they are killing some of our people. That is an act of war, and it should be bound by the War Powers Act. And it obviously is. This is a stupid justification.
It's a stupid justification, but it's crazy. And even just reading about this and reading what past presidents have done, whether it's Bill Clinton or Obama, to like actually like try and engage in wars that Congress hasn't authorized, it's just like, it boggles the mind to think that we want to like kill so bad. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's a take that's like devoid of like the context of whatever we were engaging in at the time, but it's like, I'm not pro-war.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, no matter what the law says about how it defines terms like hostilities and war and what's an act of war and what's not, it seems like it should be bad to just like do these things and think we can get away with it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't like that.
I mean, it's just like we're at the end of our fucking rope as an empire, man. Like, we're running out of steam. We have nothing left to do, really.
Yeah.
And we can't accurately assign blame to the people that are really fucking the country over, the rich. So we have to find other people to go after, and it just happens to be fishermen off the coast of Venezuela.
Exactly. Like, once again, we're continuing to advance just no evidence, and it's going so far that they're doing this while intentionally restricting Congress from getting information related to the strikes. Yeah. So much so that Hegseth went the extra mile to now bar military officials from talking to Congress about the strikes without prior approval.
That is not how it should work.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what happened to the most transparent administration in history?
Yeah, nobody elected Pete Hegseth.
Exactly.
We did elect Congress.
And it's like Pete Hegseth, his tenure at the DOD has been make it look like him, make it more white and like groomed, I guess.
Put him in tight little suits.
Put him in tight little suits and play dress up with soldiers. And also restrict the press from getting any information at all whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Because it seems like those are the only two things I hear out of Pete Hegseth are soldiers need to be more white and clean shaven, and soldiers cannot say anything ever to any member of the press ever whatsoever. He wants we are centralizing information within the DOD to flow through him and his office. And that doesn't seem like something we want when it comes to like war. And it doesn't just pertain to like these drug boat killings in the Caribbean. Hegseth also banned officials from discussing a whole host of topics, with notable standouts being foreign military sales reform, which I think is interesting when we talk about Sudan and the UAE and, I don't know, selling military things to foreign governments, like doing weapon sales and whatnot, and Havana syndrome.
That one's so funny,
That
dude.
is hilarious.
No
dude.
Talking about the heart attack gun.
Exactly. No, you can't talk about the death ray that Cuba has.
Dude, I really want to know, like, what is Havana syndrome?
No, I'm saying, like, that right there is like, oh, I remember he's a TV guy.
He's the
like,
fakest thing ever. Yeah, exactly.
He's basically a podcaster, so this makes a whole lot of sense that that'd be on the list of otherwise, like, official things that you can't talk to the press about.
It's like the Amelia Earhart shit. Like, we're declassifying the
You've
Earhart
been clamoring
files.
for this for a while, guys. We're finally letting you know what happened to Amelia Earhart.
Man, don't tell anybody about Havana syndrome. Yeah, okay.
Insane. Yeah, so that's just that's what's going on with that now. A whole lot of what is going on with the alleged drug boat killings in the Caribbean is we get news that they killed somebody, and that's it. Mm-hmm. We get news they killed somebody, and then we get news that Pete Hegseth told nobody to tell anybody about what happened.
Yeah.
We're just shooting boats in the Caribbean. Pete Hegseth said, don't you fucking tell a word.
And then we're saying, even though Hegseth and Trump are saying we're waging war, we're actually not waging war because they can't fight back. That is the legal justification. They say, like, oh, we're the most transparent administration ever. Shit is pretty opaque.
Literally,
I have no idea what's happening.
There's literally a wall in front of the information that I can access from the Pentagon. Yeah. And, like, it's not just them hiding information from the public. It's them hiding information from Congress.
Yeah. And this is after Pete Hegseth purged every, like, reporter or outlet from the Pentagon except for OAN, because they signed that document
that said that they'll allow information that they report to be flown through him.
Yeah,
like and nothing about what's been going on has been transparent. They just do things. Like, the only transparency is that they're just doing things.
Yeah.
They're not, like, transparent about the things I actually want to know, like justifications, how you can get away with things. They just fucking do it.
Well, yeah, like they'll televise their cabinet meetings, but that's just propaganda. Like, it's not them actually sharing like what's happening on the ground and what their actual plans are. It's just something for like public consumption. Then they call it transparency and don't tell us about the actual atrocities they're committing or what they have, what their actual plans are for having a fucking airship carrier off the coast of Venezuela.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
It's not transparency when Pete Hegseth says you cannot talk to any reporter ever
about Havana
syndrome. And it's not transparency when Kristi Noem just gets up there and like lies.
Yep.
Like, you can pretend to be transparent and just lie, but like, you've done it so much that I see through it. It's blatant right now. It's right in front of my face that you're just lying.
And the biggest lie of all is that Pete Hegseth can actually do a pull-up. Because he can't.
Yeah, Pete
we all saw the video.
Holding soldiers to a standard that he can't reach. Interesting. He loves to talk about men and warriors and whatnot, and I think it's because he's a little insecure.
Might be a little insecure.
Maybe a little
and also, like, Trump is the fattest dude ever.
Oh my God.
And like, I'm not body shaming, but like, I mean, what are we doing?
Because that's the thing, like, back to that like TED talk he gave, the fucking TEDx talk with all the generals.
Dude, that shit was awesome.
He was talking about fat generals and you need to be in shape and then blah, 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 our commander in chief. Like, buddy, I don't think Trump could run a mile in like 8 minutes, you know?
No, he couldn't. He's not even like doing anything.
No,
right now.
No, he can't. He's hiding his like health records from us, actually. Have you been seeing that news? I don't know much about it, but every once in a while I see a headline like Trump released an MRI and blah, blah, blah. Here's why it's suspect.
No, he was saying some shit about he took like a cognition test.
Oh, but it was like a dementia test,
It was like,
right?
oh, I have 300 IQ, and then it ended up being a dementia test. And then he was like, AOC should take the same test and see how smart she is. And it's like, dog, you took a dementia test.
Because you're old.
Because you're old.
Because you're old.
Like, I don't know, man. Yeah, and then there was the MRI stuff, and there were a bunch of people speculating, internet doctors, whatever. But
Exactly, yeah. I don't read too much into that, but it is still funny.
it's like, Trump is declining. Trump is Biden.
Trump is Biden.
Hegseth,
and a little bit of Bush.
Hegseth is like obsessed with putting men in uniform in tight little outfits and making sure they can do 100
push-ups. Obsessed with strong men in the perfect little suit.
Kristi Noem's just like fucking lying and doing her cosplay. And then JD Vance, one of my favorite JD Vance moments, maybe of all time. JD Vance is out here paying attention to like a niche internet beef and internet controversies regarding Hassan Piker.
He actually like brought up Hassan?
Yes, under no circumstances should the vice president of the United States know who Hassan Piker is.
It's just loser stuff. Like you like the vice president fake job, obviously. Like this is to be expected.
But is it that fake?
But I didn't think it was that fake.
Yeah.
Like I didn't think it was the most fake job. And it's like you're supposed to pretend it's real.
Yeah.
When you're the vice president, you're supposed to know that you don't have any real responsibilities and you're just kind of there to do things, to do bullshit.
You're a heartbeat, man. That's all you are.
Exactly. Like just do the bullshit, but don't make it like actual bullshit.
But like,
go meet with a dignitary.
But like, does he have so little to do that like he can pay attention to drama about like left-wing streamers?
I guess that's just where we are. Like truly, the internet is way more real life than it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that anybody wants to contend with. And I don't even understand how to like navigate this situation because like he's a fucking internet guy.
Yeah.
Like it's like I feel like political figures don't even call out like reporters like this. Like you don't see in the Trump administration, we call out late night hosts and podcasters. We don't even talk about like reporters because Trump was also beefing with Seth Meyers over the weekend. What are we? That's the most loser thing to do ever.
Like I know Hassan's got motion. Like he's an influential guy. He's basically everywhere. He's essentially like a celebrity at this point in some ways. But like again, the vice president shouldn't be aware of like the niche internet celebrity or internet controversies that are happening to people like Hassan Piker.
Yeah,
it's just like, does he have so little to do that he can focus on this? I just don't get it.
JD Vance should not be talking about like shot collar gate.
Yeah, exactly.
Ridiculous.
Like it's one thing when Cuomo says it. Already a terrible sign, right? Cuomo as a candidate for office, public office, should not be beefing with a live stream.
Yeah,
of course. But at the very least, there was a connection between Zoran and Hassan. Like an actual connection was there. But JD Vance, like, brother, this had nothing to do with anything you should be responsible for.
What was the context of him bringing up Hassan?
He was just like asked about dogs or something like that.
Oh, so he was doing shot collar gate.
And it was about the shot collar, yeah. And he literally said Hassan Piker's name in like an actual interview, the vice president of the United States. And like there's people in the administration or like friends of the administration that consistently talk about like denaturalizing Hassan Piker. And it's like, dog, what are we doing?
That's what
what are we doing?
Beefing with celebrities, man. They love doing it. They just want attention. They just want to be podcasters. Like, once again, like all of these people just want to be famous.
It's like, apparently, if you do political commentary and you get an audience of like a couple million people, you can just attract the ire of the vice president.
That's great. Maybe it's bad that Hassan noticed us.
Yeah, wait a minute. Stay away.
Maybe it's bad that we got the Hassan shout out. Now maybe we're on JD Vance's radar.
Yeah. Oh, I need him to stop having controversies.
It feels like
and then shout us out.
Every time he has a controversy, he shouts us out like a week later, or he interacts with us in some way, and it's like, buddy.
Hey man, the way that the fucking internet churns out content is funny. It's funny.
It's funny. It's interesting how the algo works.
Fate
is a mysterious and fickle thing. No one really understands it.
Yeah, no, Fate's a comedian, I guess. But
what I do understand are my best friends on the Patreon that keep this show running every time. And
so
truly are best friends who I understand wholly and completely.
I would never condemn these people.
I would never condemn these people. And I got to start off with the top of the list, starting with Caden Kraut, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Mike Chaplinski, Clayton LaFed, Mark Yeager, Caleb Joy, Rich Toro, Tari, Fergalaki, Max Vazquez, Jacob Rogers, Colt Muberg, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Big Burrito, Cincy Alex, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Colleen Cuts, Jennifer DeVoe, Crawfishes, Benny Bennington III, Alexia Benatti, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maloney, Ted Cruz's Boy Toy, Dictator Says, Luke O'Shea, Carker Charleston, Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Aaron and his Gundam Gundams, Darth Bother, Taylor for Content, Corey Chambers, Retro Mongo, Veronica, aka V, Raxon, Ash Smith, The Grotler, Murder in a Trenchcoat, Casey Lynn Kelly, AK Gon, Iguana Don, Zach Lantian, Austin Garf, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Rensa, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C, Anna Vlinick, Casey C, Say Yes to West, August, Particular Pickman, Sir Capelot, Jeff Signs, Brendan's Egg, Froggy Gumdrop, Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babbles, MJ Sark, Michaela Muncie, The Wallace 3000,
Chris T, Kashan Lala, Amanda R, Tyler J, Particulon Menfrez, Ron Stiletto, Midwest Marxist, Joe the Mailman, Gary from West Michigan, Shawnee GG, Juniper Not Jupiter, Stacked Crabs, I Crowley, Urban Peach, Lord of Forlorn, Holt Forsyth, Booty Snakes, Dew Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Azim Fid Hussein, Gorgeous Girl Mukes, Brooklyn G, Noverk the Dastardly, Goldthorn, Addie Book, Merlin, Cryo Bonky, Sergeant Pookie, Hoodie, Kim Kitsuragi, Rose Grimm, Kristen, Jamie the Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Seth Schmidt, Noah Sajas, Majawat, Ultra the Dragon, Mercy Boku, Dick Cheney and 6-Inch Heels, Luke Wechter, Henry Kraggles, Tristan Ringsmith, Yaya, Asura the Atheist, Aiden Reese, Deep State Agent, Puddle Pirate, Southern Lefty, Lark 61, KC, Cannon Man, Troy H, Rourke Muffalo, Nahan San Diego, Nut Mode, Nick from New Haven, Connor Nick, Sound Logic, Sleven, I Have Never Made a Woman Orgasm, John from Houston, Jordino, Haley Weibold, Pablo Vasquez, Nurse Jen, Soul DJ, Maple Big Dog, CAA Small Creators Fund, Taylor from Burnt Down Minneapolis, Northeast Nick, Aya, Retired AF and SC, YK Coolin, Wolfer G, and my mom. Thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon.
Yes.
If your name should be on this list, you gotta let us know.
You gotta let us know. Come on, guys. You know, people slip through the cracks all the time around here.
I've been seeing some people got their postcards.
Oh, this is
exciting.
This is a good postcard.
Very exciting. It's a real good postcard. I hope you enjoy. The next one that's going to be coming out is our Christmas card. And we are not saying happy holidays.
We are
saying
guys.
Christmas.
It is Christmas. You know, maybe it's a war on Christmas card.
Oh, hell yeah. It's a good idea. But let us know if you need your name on this list. Let us know if you're supposed to get a postcard and you didn't. And consider maybe becoming a patron.
Please consider maybe becoming a patron, because if Zoran lost, this episode's going to be real awkward to listen to on Wednesday.
That's right.
So, God forbid.
That's right. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Have a good one.